Hello everyone, and welcome to another unboxing video. This is my second Pew Pew from CZ. I was highly impressed with this CZ75B right out of the box. So I did a little bit of research and I got another CZ model. So without further ado, let's see what's in the new case. Zoom in for you a little bit here. This is the CZ75 SP01. This is the model with the safety, not with the decocker. Let's go over the specs real quick. 4.6 inch cold hammer forged barrel. It's 8.1 inches long, 5.8 inches tall, 1.5 inches wide. It weighs 37 ounces as shown here unloaded. It weighs 41 ounces with the empty 19 round magazine. As you see, it comes with two of them. And it weighs approximately 49 ounces fully loaded. It's all carbon steel. It has front and rear slide serrations. It has a double single action trigger. It does have an accessory rail. The grips are rubber. You can see right here, and you can feel. It does have a lanyard here on the bottom. The magazine button is raised compared to the CZ75B model. It has an enhanced slide lever stop, which I will go over, and the safety is ambidextrous, and obviously it is a hammer-fired pistol. Now that we've gone over the specs, let's go over my first impressions. My first impression of the CZ75 SP01 is that it is quite a beast. When you first pick this thing up, you notice the weight right away, all 37 ounces. With the magazine in, as I'm showing right now, it's 41 ounces. So you feel the 41 ounces for sure. Now, it does carry the weight well because it's all metal, and then you notice that the way that the slide here is bigger than on the top here. So it actually distributes the weight well, because with a CZ, you see that the way that it's cut, the slide here, top part, fits into the lower part of the frame. That's how you achieve that lower bore axis. That's why these are so accurate right out of the box, too. Not only because of the weight, but because of the design. It also doesn't hurt that it has a double single action trigger that when in single action, it definitely has got to be less than 4 or 5 pounds. It is super light. It is even lighter than the CZ75B that I bought just a few weeks ago. This is pretty money. Right out of the box, I can say this is the most accurate 9mm pistol I've ever shot. The weight you notice, but at the same time, the accuracy you get is undeniable. It is bigger, thicker, heavier, wider than the regular CZ75, and you notice it right away. But you also notice that there is absolutely no recoil, and with this fiber optic front sight, once you get on your target, it's hard to miss. I was using this at 40 feet, first time, right out of the box. I think I missed 1 out of 19 in the first magazine. So, the most accurate 9mm pistol that I've ever shot, right here. The CZ75B, I did well with it, but it's just got basic sights like these, which, if you call these white, I would call them like smoke or dirty. So, but the fiber optic front sight jumps out at you really well. The rear sight is pretty useless. If it was blacked out, I would be okay with that. I don't really like the white sights on these. I'm going to get night sights for the 75B. But here, you see it has front and rear slide serrations. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but you see how it's concave? It's curved to fit your fingers better, right? Here, these ones are flat on here. So essentially, I think these ones are just for press checking it, right? It's not really for racking the slide. You can't get as good amount of leverage at that point. It should be further down here. I really like on the Glock 43X that the slide serrations go all the way down here to the very front, giving you the greatest amount of distance to get a good pull on it. So I think these are essentially for press checks, and they're on here and they're flat. Here, they're curved. So these ones are way more useful. I was trying to rack it from here, and it's just not as easy because you see how thin the upper is, the upper part of the frame. Now, what I really like is the controls. This is an ambi safety. Now, the regular CZ75B only has one, and you can also get the tactical model, which has the decocker. So when you have the decocker model, that means that you rack around inside the chamber, then you press the decocker. So it's loaded and decocked. So your first shot is a double action trigger pull. Now this is a double single action pistol, but you'll never fire it in double action unless somehow you rack it and then somehow decock it, essentially pushing the hammer down so it doesn't fire. Then you'd be able to use the double action trigger. So that's one of the kind of things that I think is kind of silly, but that's just them making an easy adjustment by putting the safety. It doesn't really make sense to have a double single action with the safety, but at the same time, it's great for practicing. This thing, when you see in the half cock position right here, you can practice by just doing this. So you're getting a good amount of resistance, probably about the same amount of resistance as one of those polymer pistols that you buy, you know, one of your concealed carries, one of your Glocks, one of your SIGs. This trigger pull in single action is super light. So you see the trigger moved back. So when it's in double action, the trigger is way far forward, but not as far forward as the CZ75B. So as you rack it, the trigger will actually move backwards. So if you look down here at the bottom, this space, that's how far the trigger is going to travel in double action. So the trigger pull in the double action one with the decocker is super long, but here it's only going to fire in single action. So see how much shorter the trigger pull is. It only takes, I would say, like 4 pounds. It's not very hard. And you have this little bit amount of travel here. And then once you hit this wall, you don't have to pull very hard. And there you go. Now it's going to reset further because it's not loaded, but it would only reset to single action if it was loaded, which would be there. So you see it doesn't travel very much. So once you get on target with your first shot, the follow-up shots are really easy. Now the control here for the safety, it was super stiff. On the other one with the CZ75B, it wasn't stiff at all. So I did this for like 20 minutes on the couch to break it in. The safety was pretty stiff. Now the slide lever release is also enhanced from the regular CZ75 model. So you see it has kind of like these stairs on here. It works really, really well. Now when I used this for the first time, after the last round, and it locked in the rear position, loading a new magazine, I tried to pull back the slide to get it to release, but it wouldn't do it. I had to hit it forward from the back. So then I just used the slide lever release, and it worked amazing. So I really like it. It's super easy to use. It's easy to get right to your finger. Look, I have size small hands and how easy my thumb gets to it. And I'm on the whole thing. So this thing is a big full-size pistol that's heavy, but I have small hands and I absolutely love the grip on it. And the length of it, I don't really need how long it is, but it doesn't hurt. And it is actually makes it heavier and reduces the recoil to like negative. The magazines, 19 rounds. Look at how much the grip length is. And I have size small hands. So for you guys that struggle with the grip length, get you a CZ. Look at these things. I have room for another 2 fingers. Now you can also use the regular 16 round mags for these, and they will work. I actually have been debating on whether I think these are better for this because I don't need the extra length. I'm not even getting anywhere close to where the magazine is, and it's flat here, and I actually think it looks better like this. I actually kind of like it like that. Now, if you get the CZ75B, right, this is the little bro, and you take the 19 round mag and put it in there. Now look at that thing. That thing is quite the unit now. You see, I like this configuration a little bit better. Now you can buy the Mech-Gar version of these magazines too that I was looking at, because the CZ model ones are pretty expensive, but they're nice. Now it does have an extended magazine release button. You see how much it stands up? Really nice. Shoots them out of there. High quality metal magazines. Now this grip is rubber. So you see here, I can pull it back. It's rubber. The other one, it says it's rubber, but it feels more like plastic. It's a little bit harder. And this one has a little hump. I don't know if you can see that real well, but the grip on this is absolutely amazing. Because here they have this big flat space to put your left hand for your left thumb, perfect support. And you don't really need a lot of pressure, right? Because it weighs so much, you really just need to control the up and down more so than the left or right. I really, really like this. Getting it right on target with your first shot, the follow-ups are super easy. This fiber optic front sight really does jump out at you. So for the price, this is awesome. This is better than anything that you can buy right out of the box from most manufacturers for the price. This is even cheaper than a 1911, a basic one, for most manufacturers. So depending on who you buy this from, it can be under $800. I got it for under $700. So for that price, we're talking this is a poor man's competition gun. Now CZ does make a competition gun based on this model. It's the CZ75 SP01 Shadow, I believe it's called. It has an enhanced hammer and they changed some of the springs around, and it still has the same sight setup as this one has. So you can probably buy those springs from companies and install them yourselves and achieve the same thing rather than spend $1,000 on that model. So please be aware of the weight of these. And I really like the competition one of this because it's the same weight. Now the Shadow 2 is going to be 6 ounces heavier than this is. So you have to be aware of that. That means fully loaded, it's going to well over 3 pounds. This is over 3 pounds fully loaded. So the other one is going to be well over 3 pounds because it's empty at 46 ounces and 48 ounces is 3 pounds. So these are really nice, but you have to be ready for the weight. I personally like it. I like the all metal design. I really like these little serrations. They're serviceable. You notice them, but it's not anything that's overwhelming, and it's only in the middle here, so it doesn't wrap all the way around. So all in all, this is highly capable. It's even got an accessory rail. If it was drilled for a red dot, that would be ludicrous. So I really like these, also these anti-glare serrations like these have. These help line up a shot for me personally. I like these on a 1911 too. That's a nice touch. All in all, this thing is a beast. And I really can't believe that it took me this long to figure out that these high quality Czech-made pistols are better than a lot of different things that I already have used and are kind of like, well, they're okay. I definitely am never getting rid of my Gen 3 Glock 17s, but this has a special place now because the capability of this at distance, I feel extremely comfortable. I was using this at the full length of the range. I changed the target to a brand new target and I had 2 more magazines. And I started at 50 feet, then I went to 60, then I went to 70. And I was still able to keep them pretty much in the middle. So even at that far distance where you can't really see the sight, you can't see the target that well. Sorry, you can see the sight, but you really can't see the target that well at that distance, especially with like the lighting. You know, in the range, it kind of goes from light to dark as it goes further and further. And then with the backdrop, those black little rubber thingies. So it's kind of hard to see at that distance, but it's extremely accurate, and I was able to do pretty well with this. And I can say right out of the box, this is the most accurate 9mm pistol that I've used, and I look forward to trying more of their products. I'm going to do another review of this after I get more rounds through it. I've only put 120 rounds through it, but I'll show you the target, and I'll show you the original target with only the first magazine, so you can see how well I did. Here's my target from yesterday. I had the target at 40 feet. I was shooting 124 grain, brand new brass cased ammo. This is 100 rounds. This was my first time using the CZ75 SP01. I typically start out at 30 feet, but for this model, I felt a little bit more comfortable and I started out at 40. I also, after this 100, I changed to a new target and I moved it from 40 to 50 to 60, then to 70 to test the accuracy of this pistol, and I wasn't disappointed. This is highly accurate. If it only had cuts for a red dot, it would literally be a poor man's competition gun. Highly impressed for a $700 pistol. Check it out, the CZ75 SP01.